Vandeham Shri Guru Shri Yuta Padakamalam Shri Gurum Vaishnavamscha Shri Rupam Sagrajatam Sahagana Raghunatam Tam Sajivam Sadvetam Savadhutam Parijana Sahitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Padam Sahagana Lalita Shri Vishakhan Vitamscha Om Jnana Timirandhasya Jnananjana Shalakaya Chakshurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha Vancha kalpatarubhyascha kripa sindhubhya evacha patitanam bhavanebhyo vaishnavebhyo namo namaha Shri Chaitanya Manobishtam Stapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadamayam Dadati Swapadantikam Jaya Jaya Shri Chaitanya Jaya Nityananda Jaya Dvaita Chandra Jaya Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. So I'd like to give another talk spontaneously, talking for the pleasure of it, because it's great fun to share some of what I've realized about Krishna consciousness, and however small that may be. Like Gurudev said today, that the speaker's words can be judged, the vidya can be judged and ascertained, but the bhakti or the prem is your own. It's not able to be discerned. This is your prerogative. And this is why the revelation of internal bhajan is gupt, is secret. We should not go around revealing our own internal realizations willy-nilly, as they say. That it should be a very serious, we should get serious. Not that we don't enjoy our spiritual lives, but that it is a serious subject matter. It's the single most one serious method and practice for everyone to get out of material entanglement. But mukti is not the goal. The goal is prem. The goal is love of Godhead, love of God, love of Krishna. And Krishna loves us, so why shouldn't we have love for Krishna? I thought to speak on the verse from the second chapter of the Bhagavad Gita, text number 12. Matra spashastu kante shitoshna sukha dukkada agama payino nityastam statikshashva bharata. Happiness and distress appear and disappear like winter and summer seasons, and one must learn to tolerate them without being disturbed. So we can never be too thick-skinned in our outlook, because so many obstacles will come our way, so many things we don't like. Ultimately, everything that is sent to us is for our ultimate benefit, even if we don't like that or appreciate it at the time. Krishna sees the big picture, and he'll only give us what is beneficial. Krishna gives us what we need, not what we want. So this principle of happiness and distress appearing and disappearing like winter and summer seasons, and our tolerance of that, means that we should happily accept criticism. There's no need to lament. In the verse prior to this one, Krishna says, Ashochanam vashochas tvam pragavadams chabashase gatasam zagatasam jananu shochanti panditaha. He criticizes Arjuna for his not wanting to fight. Arjuna very eloquently states that surely it's better for me to die on the battlefield than to kill my family in this fratricidal war. But Krishna criticizes him. He says, while speaking learned words, you are mourning for what is not worthy of grief. The wise lament neither for the living nor for the dead. And there's one picture in the as it is Bhagavad Gita, which I used to have, I distributed. I had 2 copies of the same Prabhupada Bhagavad Gita from the 1970s, which had no Sanskrit shlokas, no transliteration. It had Sanskrit, obviously, words in there, but it was more dense, but it had pictures, and one picture of Swami stood next to some dying, or some lepers, or some dying people, very stalwart and serious. So this is how serious we should be, that we should not lament for the living or for the dead. We see so many horrific things going on around the world, and certainly we shouldn't stand by idly and do nothing. Still, we should have acceptance of what we cannot control. There's some, was it, God give me the wisdom, God give me the courage to change the things I can, humility to accept the things I cannot change, and wisdom to know the difference. There's some truth in that there, although in all these internet videos and lectures and everything we hear, it's Advaita Prakash, non-duality, because Krishna is both good and bad. He embodies all of these. He's beyond good and evil. There's some book by Nietzsche, Beyond Good and Evil, which I read a bit of it. I couldn't really understand it. I don't think, as in the history we see that Nietzsche was misunderstood horrifically, and so we should be careful in our speaking, if we are going to speak, not to be misunderstood. Advancement means advancement. It's the etymology comes from Sanskrit as dvandva, and the a at the beginning, the a prefix indicates the negative. So advancement means having the quality of no dvandva, no duality within us, that our aim is one. We had that verse the other day, that the intelligence of those who are irresolute is many branched, but the intelligence of those who are on the path of bhakti is one. That our goal should be one. Our goal should be Krishna consciousness, that we should be conscious of Krishna at every step. And this can be seen in the sadachar of the Goswami and many wonderful bhaktas who, like, they say this in derision sometimes. Oh, the bhaktas. Oh, I'm stuck here with the bhaktas. These bhaktas are, when you join, you get called a bhakta. But this is the highest praise. This is the highest praise. We didn't realize at the time, but this is the highest praise. If someone calls you a bhakta, or you, obviously we should have humility, like we had Trinada Pisanichena, Taroriva Sahishnina, Amanina, Amanadena, Kirtanaya Sadahari. That we should be as humble as a blade of grass. And Sada Harinam, that we should always be chanting Harinam, if that's our method. See, that Srila Prabhupada never attempted to proselytize exactly. He had on offer, and people saw the value there. They saw that there was something real in this movement. Sometimes people, I'm sure, mistake. They think, what is this Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. It's just some words they say, like just someone's made up this mantra, and it's fooling people and brainwashing them. They always say this is brainwashing, and this is rubbish, for not wanting to use an expletive. The Hare Krishna mantra is not created, is there in the Veda, but in a hidden form. So we should happily accept criticism, and this is something which I very much need to change my mentality towards, I realize, and I'm attempting to do that. It's difficult when we're sometimes when we're challenged, but like we said, everything is for our ultimate benefit. And even in Harinam, sometimes it's bliss at every step when we're on the platform of bhava and prem, but when we're still going through anartha nivritti and clearing stages of unwanted things and unwanted, and when I say things, I mean internal qualities as well, that it may not be possible to change our sthayi bhav, but our minds change every second. They flit here and there, and it's difficult to control the mind. So we should be very careful to keep good association, and like this sadhu sangha, which is a mercy of the Lord, if we can live directly in the association of sadhus. And nowadays a lot of devotees, I think, get a lot of nourishment through the internet, so that's not a bad thing. It's a reality also, but that doesn't mean we shouldn't seek out the direct personal association. Live in the Dham wherever possible, but visit the Dham initially respectfully. It's said you should visit the Dham for 3 days. This is Vedic culture, that you should never stay in a guest's house for more than 3 days. So we've made some aparads in the Dham, and for that we are sincerely apologetic and struggle to come to terms with the severity sometimes. But as this mood of happily accepting criticism comes, then the gong, the tan 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 tan, it ceases to sound like the guru beating me on the head, which is maybe what it is sometimes, but it's not really. It's tala. It's tala. There's tala and rag in the Indian musical system. Tala is like rhythm, and rag is like the scale. Sa re ga ma pa da ni sa, sa ni da pa ma ga re sa. Hare Krishna. So surrender is the big thing, and I know it's not easy, but if we have sincerity and determination, enthusiasm, and ultimately devotion, then we will go very far in life. And this devotion is intrinsic to every act or every endeavor. Requires devotion. This supremacy of bhakti has been established by Sri Krishna Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, by the Goswamis, the Sad Goswamis, Rupa Raghunath, Sanatan, Das Raghunath, Gopal Bhatta, and Sri Jiva Goswami. And in the Siddha Pranali, whichever that may be that you're situated in. But this is another topic which I'm currently struggling to understand, is parampara. It's a debate, a discussion that goes, well, it's not a debate, but there is a debate around it that can go on and be quite difficult to understand. Krishna says in the Bhagavad Gita that, I forget the Sanskrit, but he says one should approach a bona fide spiritual master, surrender unto him, and inquire from him with humility. He can give you realization because he has seen the truth. So this is the point about Shastra Chakshush. The Guru and Shastra are the most dear friends and necessities in the life of a sadhaka. We Shastra Chakshush, the eyes of Shastra, we see through the eyes of Shastra, base our praman, our understanding or correct understanding of life and Krishna and the sweet pastimes between the divine couple and their entourage, the gopas and gopis, in a particular bhava, Shanta, Dasya, Sakya, Vatsalya, Madhurya, Ujjvala Ras, Adbhuta Ras, and many different rasas are there, and they kind of flow in between each other. And it's not that we again, it's a process of preservation. Shanta Ras is kind of always there, or never there at the same time. But Dasya, in order to be a good servant of the Lord, it requires peace, and because no one wants a anxious or errant servant. And then to be a friend of the Lord, it requires servitude, because friendship entails serving each other. And again, Vatsalya, if you desire to have Krishna as your child and have parental affection for him, then you must be a friend to that child, and you must serve that child, and you must be peaceful around that child. And then Madhurya Bhav, the sweetness of conjugal love, that requires all the other lower rasas. But again, it's not a it's absolute. It's not linear. It's they evolve and flow between each other. And then the Ujjvala rasa of incandescence is also very very high, but this maybe can be linked to Aishvarya, that there's some opulence there in Ujjvala, and this Aishvarya is really not the goal of Gaudiyas generally. They have all opulence, these saints, but they don't lord it about. Their focus is madhurya, is sweetness, and this sweetness is is seen in a very simple way. It's a simple, humble qualities of a devotee. So sadachara is there, is very important. But again, the goal is prem. The goal is love of God. And it said, love God with all your heart, with all your mind, with all your body, with all your speech, everything. Atma nivedanam, that we offer ourselves to the Lord. And this doesn't mean that we quit bhakti altogether, but it's that we keep our eyes on the horizon and remember the leelas of the Lord, that Krishna is Leela Purushottam. His Leela is perfect. He's the perfect person, and his Leela is infinitely sweet, like Ashtakalya Leela Smaranam, remembering the eightfold daily pastimes of Krishna. So we can think, oh, what time of day is it now? Oh, it's evening. Where's Krishna now? Oh, he's just in the antechamber with Yashoda. She's just offered him some hot milk scented with camphor, and he's drunk that, and now he's going to his bedroom where he'll pretend to sleep, and then he'll slip out the trapdoor, which is hidden in his room, and travel out on the path in the moonlight to the Rasastali, playing his Murali Manohar. This Murali captivates the entire cosmos, for those who have the ears to hear it, and he'll dance in perfect felicitude. His felicity, his sweetness and wholesome sweetness, not saccharine. There's difference between refined sugar and natural gore. Date gore, jaggery, is very, very sweet, and the refined saccharine qualities may be sweet, but it's not very nourishing. It'll rot your teeth. So we can use natural foodstuffs, natural food products, and taste the real sweetness. Actually, our eating arrangements, this is something that Shripad Indra Das Babaji spoke about, is that generally our eating arrangements are very elaborate. What to speak in the West of mlechas eating Gormans, eating beef, and eating so many disgusting food products which pollute the mind and pollute the society. But even for Vaishnavas, that our eating should not be our sole focus. When we're cooking for Krishna, if we're thinking, oh, this is how I'm going to make this so nice for Krishna, he's going to enjoy so nicely, then that's very good. We always think we're in Radharani's kitchen, and we're helping Radharani. We're cooking some preparation that will then be offered by Radharani to Krishna later. We're maidservants, or foot maidens. foot servants, under butlers. Well, no, that's a high one. Well, I can't think. Just some lowly servant I am. But the point of these elaborate eating arrangements is there's a difference between sadhaka roop and swaroop. So it's better to eat very simply, just eat dal bhat, rice, dal, chapatis, live on some simple diet, fruits, nuts, roots, fruits, shoots, something healthy, but not too much putting the emphasis on our diet, because Prabhupada wanted even the Grihastha devotees to live like Goswamis. How did the Goswamis eat? Very simply. So we should be tadatmaka with the Goswamis. This is a very high platform, but if we can pray, we can pray to Srila Prabhupada, to the Sad Goswamis, as we mentioned, Rupa Raghunath, Sanatan, Jiva, Gopal, Das Raghunath, to please accept me, please accept this. I know I've made so many mistakes, I know I'm so awful, and my bhakti is very deficient, my knowledge is very deficient, my heart is very unclean. Please chant Hare Krishna, and then all auspiciousness will come to you. Hare Krishna.